Just a man on a mission, ambition to never fail. Personality electric, he is animated male. Intelligent and wise, calm and often cool. Chris James giving opinions while also speaking the truth. Empathy and compassion. Stephen Michael is here, helping you through your traumas, helping you with your fears. These three forces combine and keep it honest. Turn up the volume, cause this is the application of knowledge.
All right. Welcome to the Application of Knowledge podcast. I am Animated Mel. To my right, to your left, we have Chris James in the building. To my left, to your right, we have Stephen Michael in the building. And we are on episode 90. 90 of them big things, man. What they know about it, man? What's going on in the world? What's going on in your lives, man? What's happening? Talk to me, Stephen. What's going on in your life, man? Are you looking all cool? Looking like a Mortal Kombat character? Got the glasses with the vest, striker.
I look like a Mortal Kombat character?
Hey, man. I mean, that's the word on the streets, man.
Oh, okay. I don't know what.
You out here trying to finish them, man.
Oh, wow. I'm definitely out here finishing some things.
Out here. Oh. Must be nice. Must be nice. How we doing, man? What's new in your world?
I mean, for real, man. Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, just I was out of town last week, and this week has been. It actually has been quite busy. Playing catch up.
A good busy or a bad busy?
No, good busy.
Okay.
Playing catch up. I have new clients coming in, new clients finishing. We started our challenge, so it's been busy.
Yeah.
So, but I have a lot of people that are finishing. So it'll give me a little bit more time to do more things, and then next week is just a different set of busy. But other than that, like everything's good.
Everything's good. Chris, what new business you starting, man? It's
always starting a new business.
What new company you investing in, man? What's going on in your life, man?
I'm investing in our real estate company.
You got the real estate, you got the plants, you got the herbs, you got the knowledge.
Yeah, started the process of getting my insurance from my death benefit.
Ooh.
Get the family bank started.
Oh, I mean, you don't know nothing about that, man. You got to read books and learn about that, man. You know what I mean?
It's becoming pretty popular, but I don't know, like, it's a concept that's hard for people to understand. So I know people are hearing it, people are spreading it on TikTok and stuff, but I guarantee you 90% of people are hearing that and like, I can't do this. I don't know what this is. Like,
you think they probably think it's like a scam or like a scheme or some sort?
Well, the biggest issue with the family bank is you have to fund it. Mm-hmm. You can't go and get a loan, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so most people are just like, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Okay, instead of paying $25,000 for this car, I'm gonna save up $25,000 and then loan it from my bank. That's stupid. That's what they think. So they're not. A lot of people probably aren't gonna resonate. It's not gonna resonate, but
it sounds good when you see it on a TikTok or a reel. And I think that for a lot of people, it makes sense. But in practical, actually doing it, it's just like Chris said, I got to save up $25,000 even buy that car. But then it's even setting it up, which is an investment. And it's just like, or I could just go get a loan and just do that. It's short term. It's much more difficult. They see it as double investment. So I'm basically paying twice for this. You know what I mean?
That's how they look at it.
So, but long term, it's just like, well, if you look at it long term, it's a huge benefit. So, and a lot of people have a hard time seeing things long term.
I don't think that knowledge should be so, I guess, uncommon to have. I think if everyone had knowledge on how to properly use their money and get rid of that fear of, doing things that's against the standard norm, because that's a lot of things that hold us back. Is two things that hold our community back as far as, the financial development part is they stick to the norms of getting a loan from a bank or, investing in things that they say that they should that the society says that you should, but they don't necessarily follow the standards that the billionaires and these people who set up these companies, they don't follow those standards because they aren't taught unless you go out of your way to learn it. And I think if we was to learn that at a younger age, instead of getting older when we have all this debt and then our understanding of how money works, that is tainted by the things that we were taught in school. Because just imagine if teachers taught you this in school, like how far ahead you would be.
Bro,
It's never gonna happen.
I officially started working at 14. So let's just say if I would have started this at 14.
Bruh.
I started working at 14 also.
So imagine if I started at 14 and when Steve starts at 14, I'm like, yo, Steve, you need to do this. And then when Mel started working 14 or 17, I'm like, yo, Mel, you need to do this. And we all did it.
Yeah.
Since, you know what I'm saying? And we're all friends, we're all close, and we all work together, we all invest together. The amount of resources we'd have right now, it would be stupid. And it would have come to us pretty easy because our life wouldn't have changed at all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with, right? Because Mel, you mentioned knowledge, and I think that a lot of people have access to knowledge, but it's the implementation of that where they struggle, and as you also mentioned, the fear. I was listening to a live that Yaki did, and he was talking about talking about the Rockefellers and kind of the origin of how he kind of came up in the oil industry. And then he had the monopoly, then they broke up the monopoly, and then they started using all the byproducts and pharmaceuticals. And, then they broke up that company, and then they then went into, they are now companies which we know as Kellogg, Procter & Gamble, things like that make our hygiene products, our kids' cereals. And all of these things are byproducts, right? So anyway, he was talking about when they got into schooling, he was wanted to like be a part of that and basically take over the schooling system, or as they call it, the educational system. And he went into this breakdown of the word education, and obviously I'm not gonna be able to break it down like he did. Just
be spitting.
Yeah, he'd be spitting. But but the gist of it was that the root of the word education really stems from the word of training. So when you go into education or the education system, they are not just giving you information, they are training you to be a certain way or to live or act a certain way. So our education system is training us to react and respond to things in a very particular way. This is why in school that you have to walk in a straight line while going down the hall, stay on the right side of the hall.
Yeah.
Right? They're teaching certain things in a very particular way to educate us. But what that education does, it trains us how to respond and react to react in the norm. So they understand if everyone goes through the public education system, because it's like, well, why is the public education free, right? Well, if you change the word of education, and this is just me spitballing, but if you change the word to education and you change it to training, well, now you're in the public training system. Well, what are you now training people for? Well, we're training you to be a robot. We're training you to just get a job, go to work, right, and do the things we want to do, and then we will collect all the resources from that. So if you look at, these words, and I love words, so I did a live yesterday, I broke down the word distraction. But if you look at words and you just start to break them down, they make so much more sense. So we're never going to get education or training from our public school systems. This is why, right, having children and raising them on your own or raising them in a homeschool, you can teach these things. And when you teach them at younger ages, you can then educate them or train them to do and react and respond a certain way to, with your finances, and all the things that we know as adults that you're going to need and things they're going to need. So, it's up to the parents of today to break that cycle and educate or train their children or our children in a way that would be conducive based upon what we are learning now. And that's where there's the big break where it's not the information not flowing properly.
I always hear, like in just different podcasts or different speeches that I listen to, of people talking about how children in school, like, or adults, they're reading at like a 4th grade level. That's like a common thing. And I've always typically heard that about people in public schools, they can't read. But was that as do you remember that being as prominent when we were kids, about adults
Yes.
or older people not being able to read? So it's literally just like the same thing that was being regurgitated back then right now.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, not only were adults, well, some adults were illiterate, which was more rare, but probably not. People are living life without being able to read. That was just happening. But also before that, like, our grandparents would have stopped schooling at like 4th or 6th grade anyway. So I think it was a cultural thing. Now, my question is this: what does it mean to read at the 12th grade level? Like, how are they actually gauging this? If you can read, Johnny went to the store, Johnny bought some ice cream, then you can read. I don't like, no. It's like how many big words do you know?
I think it has something to do with the ability to enunciate or pronounce larger words. But once again, as we stated, that's education, right? The more larger words you know, the more educated you are, and the more educated you are, the more you feel like no one can teach you anything. No one can, like we see this when you look at people. We've had people in our classes that come in and they have high educations, PhDs, doctorates, teachers or nurses. I mean,
just the adults.
Yeah, just they had and I said one of the courses, and I was talking about pride. And I was talking about how pride is, hubris, right? The downfall of man. And when you have that receipt or your degree, which is it's a receipt of education. I've been educated. Here's my receipt. I paid for this, right? When you have that, it gives you a level of hubris that basically says, you can't tell me anything. You who are you to teach me something, because you don't have a receipt. You didn't pay as much as I did for this education, for this level of training. So it's just, when you talk about reading levels, it's the fact that you can be educated further. But I mean, as we all know, by 6th grade or something, you've learned everything that you've needed to learn in order to be a functioning human in society, right? Obviously, you can continue to learn your education, but you have the foundations. Yeah. So I don't know exactly how they classify a reading level, but I assume it is just, the flow of it, how things should flow, or, they basically just standardize that.
They probably have some test or so that they probably have to take, or I guess their grade average, that maybe they took a reading test or a writing test and it was below the average or so.
I think it's basically, well, there's standards. So you have, let's say there's a book, and this book is set where on average, or the standard is 4th graders can read this book. If you can't read this book fairly efficiently, you would not be then at a 4th grade level.
You're like, yo, what book you reading?
Right, right, but where does that standard come from?
Right, and I don't. Well, that goes back to kind of.
It's just arbitrary, bro.
Yeah, it goes back to like the Rockefellers or whatever, how they created the educational system.
Yeah, they just. My thing is, what I've noticed that they do, especially with science, but this goes across the board, is they come up with these very complex ideas. They increase the vocabulary in order to, take these long explanations of things and make them succinct so that people at certain levels can have these dialogues and convey very concise information. But they're taking complex theories, giving this theory a word that then a person can use this word to basically take all those words that explain this theory, and they just put it in one word.
Yeah.
And now we're stacking these really complex theories and ideas using these words as we're having conversations, and it becomes extremely complex.
Yeah.
So that the layman can't understand it. They really just can't.
It's like they're talking another language.
No, they literally
are.
Yeah.
I mean,
so here's the thing. They use this as a form of deception, because you can lie. You can, you could say, for example, there's the law of gravity and the theory of gravity. Well, what are the difference? Why is it two different ones? And what's the difference? And what's a law and what's a theory? And can a theory and a law be similar, or are they really distinctively different? Like, it's very confusing. And then depending on what you're talking about, whether it's legalese or whether it's medical terms or, you know, whether it's just common dialect, the same word means different things. So laymen, people who cannot read, let's say people who cannot read beyond a fifth or sixth grade level, they don't really get it. So they just is like, well, these people are smarter than me, da da da. No, they're purposely confusing you. Actually, the more intelligent you are, the more intellectual prowess you have, you should be able to explain very complex things simply. So the fact that these quote unquote very complex things cannot be explained simply lets me know that there's a deceit there.
Yeah.
Because all of the questions and answers in our reality are all simple.
And I think that that's one of the things that people, you know, like about us is that, and well, I'll say us, but also I think that one of my superpowers is the ability to learn a complex theory or learn something very complex and then just make it make sense, right? Without having to use a bunch of big words or, you know, it's just like, bro, you don't need to know all of that.
You have an example
Of
a complex thing that you recently learned or probably learned that you was able to break down?
So I was looking at, there was an old video that me and Chris were looking at. That I was looking at. Me and Chris did for one of the channels. And I was talking about the word healthy, right? And the word healthy is very simply defined as to be in good health, right? And it seems like it's such a simple thing, but it's so overly used. It's actually very complex. So obviously I'm not going to go through that whole breakdown because it was a long video and it was like a 15-minute monologue. But basically, when you talk about health, right, we have to look at health and what that means. So when you talk about the body, being healthy is the body's system or a body organ, its ability to detox, right? So that's when you talk about the body, that is what the healthy body means, or a healthy organ, its ability to detox. So then as you continue to break that actual word down, then you have to, and you look at, and you apply that to foods, it's just like, okay, well then what is considered a healthy food? So the only type of food that would be considered a healthy food would be a food that would be something that then allows the body or supports the body in the detoxification process or lends nutrition to detox. So the only type of food that could be considered healthy is a food that is going to, of course, have your micronutrients, your macronutrients, right? So these are your proteins, your carbs, your fats. It's also going to have obviously your vitamins and minerals, things of that nature. So the only type of food that does that are going to be your whole foods. So foods that are of nature in some way. Anything processed is not healthy. It doesn't matter what it is. So it doesn't matter if it's a vegan protein powder, a pea powder, doesn't matter if it's whey protein, all that crap, those healthy Nutri-Grain bars, all that stuff, it's not natural. It's not whole food, right? So it's frankenfood, really. So that word is used so much, and we have taken the word of other people and be like, oh no, well this is healthy. No, it's not healthy. So it's a very complex thing when you actually look at it and look at the word, and we know it's complex because it's confusing. What is considered to be healthy? And you ask that question to people and you're going to get a myriad of different answers. So the only thing that genuinely makes sense is breaking down the words and looking at the definition. And then when you look at it in regards to food and you look at it in regards to your body and health, well, then it has to be a food that is going to lend itself to the detoxification process of the body. So it's a very complex thing. But when I tell you, listen, Stop listening to all these people, all these gurus that say, well, this is healthy, or listen to your trainer, your nutritionist that says, you could eat cottage cheese. That's a great healthy food. The cottage cheese isn't lending itself to the detoxification process. Yeah. It's extremely mucus forming. But right now, it's a very prominent type of food that people are putting in everything, right? Touted as healthy, but it's not. So when you tell somebody, listen, if the food does not have all the nutrients that you need, right? Every food has different nutrients and different quantities, but if it's not a whole food, period, it's not healthy. And that's a very complex, obviously I can break that down even further, and that's a whole hour conversation, but that's a very complex thing that you can just break down fairly quickly, and people can say, you know what? I can understand that.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, there's this book that I'm currently reading. It's by Michael Ross, and it's called Salt, Sugar, and Fat. And it literally breaks down everything as far as how companies. I just started. I'm on the second chapter, but it's basically talking about how these companies they have altered they've altered ingredients. They do a lot of tests. They've done tests on children to see how they respond to sugar. And although children, when they're eating, they'll say that they like broccoli, but when they are given the choice of a sweet snack versus something that's healthy for you, they'll say they like broccoli for the approval of, because the adult says, hey, this is good. But their actions are literally showing that everything that they're doing is leading towards sweets or whatever. And so these companies, they've done so many different tests, and even that the sweetness and the saltiness, these are things that activate our brains.
Yeah.
And it generates a response hey, I want more of this. And so they've done experiences where even when you see Coke and all these different beverages and snacks and processed foods, they have way more sugar than necessary. Way more sugar than necessary that's needed to be in that product. But it's bad for the people, but it's good for the consumption of the product. And so now you go against a morality, kind of tug of war. Obviously, the companies, they don't care about people's health.
No.
So they're going to just pump this stuff consistently and compact it with all these sugars and processed, these refined materials. And so it shows you on the grander scale that it's working, even if it's at the detriment of the people that's consuming it. And he also has a few interviews. His channel on YouTube is called I Never Knew or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I know that channel.
Yeah.
That's his channel?
No.
Oh.
I just saw him on that channel. I was let me check out this book. And because they have a lot of good information on there about that. So I figured that'd be something that I would learn more about, just to gain that knowledge and then spread it to the masses. You know what I mean?
Bro, I just heard that at IBM, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's IBM, this guy was working there. It's his friend. His friend was working at IBM, and they were at a gas station or whatever, and he's like, hey man, I'm about to get a Coke. You want a drink or anything? He said, bro, I don't drink Coke. He was like, do you know what happens at IBM if we spill a Coke? He was like, a hazmat team has to come and clean it up.
Wow.
A hazmat team?
A hazmat team has to come and clean it up. Y'all seen the videos of Coke cleaning rust? And all that.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we know the story of why is it called Coke, because they put cocaine in it. It's still testing for Coke.
Correct.
So it still actually has cocaine in it?
Yes.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The big companies get away with stuff that we normal people can't do. They get certain privileges and stuff. And they'll once again, they'll use their big terms and their big explanations, and they'll explain it away. Oh, we get it because, it's Coke in it, but we mix it with this, and it neutralizes that, and it's not the same.
Yeah, they'll give all these fancy explanations, but it doesn't take away the fact that it's killing people.
The chemicals that make it up are still in the product. So the concentration is much lower, and how they deliver it in and of itself into the actual like drink itself is probably different. But the reason it's going to test positive in some way, it's not a lot, but it's going to test positive because a lot of the ingredients are still there.
Yeah.
So that's how they'll get away with that. But obviously, it's designed to make it addictive. Right, so you talked about sugar, and
they said high fructose syrup.
Yeah, high fructose
it's like,
corn
that's
syrup.
the one.
It's terrible.
That gets them. That's the one that gets them.
It's just processed sugar that's been processed and processed and processed. Right, they use a a high heat, high pressure system to create these sugars, and they're extremely concentrated.
Yeah.
So they're able to take a smaller quantity of ingredient. And then with all the processing, it makes it extremely concentrated, and they can use less in the manufacturing process. It's that high fructose corn syrup is terrible.
Yeah,
and it's in so much. Mm-hmm. All of our
Not
condiments.
to mention, like all this extra sugar. Mel said is more than what's needed. Bro, a lot of the stuff, especially when it comes to drinks, the sugar comes from the fruit. The fruit will give you the sugar.
Literally, I'm drinking. This is grape juice. As you guys can see, for the people.
That's grape juice.
It's grape juice.
So everyone who always asking what Stephen got in his cup.
Oh, this is.
Don't worry about what is in his cup.
Don't worry about what's in my cup. Yeah,
my cup.
But this is extremely sweet.
That's grape juice, and you know what I mean. Get them bowels moving.
It's straight grape, right? It's extremely sweet, and I meant to put water in it, but yeah, it just didn't happen.
I got some water for you.
No, it's okay. I'm right here.
You good?
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
That's still good.
I'm looking out for you, man.
No, I appreciate it.
I mean, I'm not your enemy, man.
No, I don't.
I'm on your side, Steven.
Thank you.
Water and lemon.
Water and lemon.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's extremely sweet. Sweeter than what you would get if you went and bought a bottle of, Mott's or Dole grape juice, right?
Yeah.
So then you look at it and you look at the actual ingredient list, and it's like 5% juice. Right, but it's they're allowed to call it grape juice, but it's only 5% juice. So then, what's the rest of it? Water and sweeteners
And artificial
flavorings. Da 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 da. It's like, bro, there's no reason that you would ever need to add sugar into this. It would be crazy. So it's like they're allowed to say it's juice because they have the minimum standard quantity in it, right? But then it's mixed with water. And then all the other chemicals and the sugar to make it grape juice, and they color it. It's like, bro, this is green grape. You have all this. There's your soluble fiber here at the bottom of this, right? Because people be like, oh, you lose your fibers. All this is soluble fiber that your body can actually utilize and actually break down. This is how you get fiber into the colon, feed your bacteria, right? Anyway, but you wouldn't actually need sugar if you just use real grapes, and you can cut this. But the problem is that would be very expensive. To go buy a bottle of grape juice, it would be highly expensive.
Well, wait. Yes, if we tried to put that idea in this modern society with what we have set up now.
Yeah, correct. No, that's what I'm saying. Right, but I mean, you can, like I said, you can cut this in half. You know what I mean? You can cut that in half and add some water to it.
Add some lemon to it.
You can preserve it. I mean, it could absolutely be done. But, I mean, it's as soon as you take nature and you start to do things to it, once again, it's grape, so it's wine. You take that and you ferment it. You add some bacteria to it. You give it time. You let it sit. You let it ferment. You filter it. Then you take out the bacteria and all that stuff. And then eventually, as it continues to ferment, the sugars become even more deeper in not in flavor, but they continue to grow with that bacteria. This is how you get wine. This is how it now becomes an alcohol, right? So alcohol is basically, it's a poison.
But like the thing about it is, they do that with alcohol. And that's all fine. They use minimal chemicals in alcohol traditionally.
Yeah.
Now, of course, New Age, they'll put sulfates and all this crap.
Absolutely.
But so what you're talking about doesn't work on the scale of mass production, being able to ship internationally.
Oh,
and all that
absolutely
crap, right?
not.
It is these have to be local things. Okay, cool. Well, people need jobs anyway.
Right.
So produce your grape juice locally on a regular basis. It has a shelf life of a week, but when you're doing it locally, then it's easy.
Yeah.
People got work. They need work anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon just laid off, apparently bought 750,000 robots. I don't know if it's true or not.
Really?
Apparently. I
Wow.
believe it because at their warehouse, I used to work there.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is set up the whatever the robot needs to recognize what it's doing and where it's going. We were using robots to do everything.
It was just you that was actually pushing the buttons.
I was just pushing the buttons. So you just get the AI to push the buttons now.
It's over.
Yeah.
Oh, so they got rid of apparently 750,000 jobs.
Well, they bought 750,000 robots.
So people are they can lay off people, but eventually the robots will take over completely.
Eventually, you can't just put all the robots in there now.
Yeah, there's no space.
Because you also have to think that the robots that are probably in there now, I'm sure they'll malfunction, they'll
Absolutely.
break down. So,
Yeah.
I mean, unless they have other robots to fix those robots, there
not
will
yet.
always be a job for a human in some capacity. It's just that people would have to upgrade their resume and their experience versus just being like, "You took my job." You know what I mean?
Or we could just go back to our homestead life, farming, gardening. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody. I was talking to this dude from Congo yesterday. I just had a great conversation with him, man. And he was like, "Yeah, in America you can't live free," and I'm like, "No, you cannot. You have to pay to live here."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "That's not like it is in Africa. We don't have to pay to live." And I'm like, because I'm like, you know, you got a house, you bought a house. He said, I was like, you never own it. Because you pay the house off, you still have to pay taxes. And that's infinite. You never stop paying that.
Yeah.
So you stop paying that, you lose your house. You never own your house.
When will we? Okay. 'Cause, the question is, when will we ever stop paying taxes? And
Never.
the answer is never.
When we die.
Well,
But how can we get
who, me or
like,
you or who you talking
Well,
about?
I know you probably have these
Who
loopholes.
we talking about?
But I'm just saying,
so
like,
much just a regular human in
because
general.
the reason why we're paying taxes is it because of the debt that this country is trying to pay off, or is it just to exist? And regardless of any kind of debt this country is in, if you're a citizen within this United States, you're going to be paying taxes regardless.
The taxes were supposed to be a benefit to the whole. So everybody was supposed to pay into a pot essentially, and that pot was supposed to assist in they were the governing body of the communities, and the governing body was supposed to take care of the people when the people basically needed assistance, right? It's the same thing that happens in the church. So in the church originally, you look at tithes and offerings, right? So tithes and offerings, you're supposed to provide 10% of
Praise the Lord.
your now I won't say income, because originally it wasn't income. It's just 10% of what your crops and stuff. And what they were supposed to do is the church was supposed to take those, crops, corn, wheat, whatever it was, and then they put it in the storehouse. So this is why you hear churches calling it a storehouse, right? Because it literally was a storehouse. And then what would happen is during a bad storm, or if, somebody had bad crops that year, whatever, they can go to the church, and then the church would assist them, right? So
They primarily helped women, orphans, and women who were widows. And also that also took care of the priests as well, because the priests weren't supposed to be working.
right. So that is essentially what was supposed to happen. And obviously now we look at it in today's world, and that's not what happens at all. So it's the same thing with government. Government was supposed to take taxes, and they were supposed to help the people, right? But now it obviously has grown into an absolute monster where that is not happening, and they're taking way too much money, right? But this is if you look at history, because I love history, the Boston Tea Party. Are you familiar with the Boston Tea Party?
I heard the name, but I have no.
Okay. So the Boston Tea Party was in Boston, and what they did is they basically took all their tea. So tea would come in from England.
Like literal tea?
Literally tea.
Okay.
So that was a crop, or a
Tea, man. Tea and crumpets.
yeah. So because originally the 13 colonies, they came from England to the Americas. So we were importing a lot of goods, and tea was a big thing. Tea, coffee, tobacco, right? All these were goods that we would trade.
Brown and black substances.
So what was happening is that the tea and stuff was getting taxed, like crazy, but the people had no say, right? So they had so their big thing was no taxation without representation. They were getting taxed, but then yet they weren't able to have a say in what was happening in the government. They had no say in the actual governing bodies, but their tea and stuff was getting taxed like crazy. So the Boston Tea Party is when they literally went and then they actually basically sank the tea ship so that way it couldn't be there was no tax on it. And then the government lost a ton of money because now they couldn't trade those resources, those goods.
Swindle.
Absolutely. So this was the way of the people fighting back against the government, right? Today we have protests, right? We have well, now they do looting and stuff.
Isn't it interesting how people do exactly what they were taught to do?
Yeah.
What did you call it? Training.
Yeah.
So is it possible that the Boston Tea Party was a made-up fictional story, something that never happened, or was told to us in a way that it wasn't truly truthful, in order to get us to react a certain way? Because that's what people do.
It is a possibility that it is not true, just like anything in history. Or it was an event and it wasn't as large, right? Or if it was an event and obviously things happened that we don't really know what happened. And
what percentage would you lean towards to say this was something that either didn't happen, was skewed? Like, what percentage would you say this is just not the truth versus this is the truth? It's more likely that this is the truth, or it's more likely that it isn't the truth.
Are we talking about Mel? Are we talking about the Tea Party specifically, or
sure, the Tea Party specifically?
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't really have any evidence
in
that
general. Then let's just say history in general. If you're learning about history, is it more likely that it's BS in some capacity, or is it more likely that it's 100% true?
Oh,
BS.
No, BS. I would say probably 80 to 90%.
I lean towards BS.
Is incorrect. It's not, but there's just like so many other things that we listen to as fact, right? Especially in religion, there's enough truth to make it believable, but it only takes a page or of a document being missing,
a little bit of
right?
lie and the truth.
It only takes one
confusion.
little thing to be missing. You look at a word or a sentence and you take out a punctuation somewhere, it changes the whole sentence.
Yeah.
So I would say that most of it is skewed in some way to make it look a particular way.
I mean, history currently, like the most recent history, is already being skewed.
Yeah, we're living in it.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's already evident as far as the information that's being put out there by the media, you know, even when it comes to the elections, when it comes to the, you know, pandemic and things of that nature, the history of how it started, its origin, it's being skewed. And even, oh my God, I'm pretty sure y'all saw this, how people were saying that, I don't want to make this a Corona talk, but people were saying how, you know, take this shot and you'll be good. And then there's cases where people say, oh, I got heart inflammation and pain and stuff like that. But now, as of maybe a couple weeks ago, the Pfizer, they put out like a new updated.
It's a software update.
Basically a software update about like, hey, side effects may include heart palpitations.
Did they say myocarditis?
Myocarditis.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they have it on their site. They say that. And so
should have been there.
Everything that, you know, people like Rizza Islam or Dr. Qatar and, you know, RFK, all these people who were talking about these things in the past prior to it being exposed to the public, they're literally telling you everything now, but just 3 years later.
3 years later.
Like, that's crazy.
You know what's crazy? Oh, sorry.
And the people who spoke out against it, they were called insane, blackballed, and all this stuff. But now that the powers that be has made this known, where's the apology? Where's the outroar, the outcry to the people who are literally trying to help you and telling you their experiences and what they're going through? But since it's not officially labeled, you're considered crazy or you're an anti this and anti that. But like, no, this is killing people. People are dying. Perfectly healthy people are dying because of this. So like our history is skewed about the things that are taking effect on us.
So what will happen is in 20 years, when they read about that in history books and this crazy pandemic, they're always going to see that, oh no, that they always had this warning. It was always a warning. Like, no, it wasn't. But we live it and we saw what happened, but they won't see that in the history books, right? Because the social media companies and stuff, they took down posts. You have, Google that basically controls, everything, basically all the internet media. All that stuff can just simply be removed. And it's like it never happened. So that's literally, we're literally living in a situation where we're watching history get rewritten. So it's just like, well, if we can see this with our own two eyes right now, what the hell would make someone think that they did not do that before? And there was no internet, right? All that was newspapers. There's like, we have more ability to be accountable now than before, because at least if somebody puts something out, they may live in Africa or something, I could possibly see it. If you take us back 20 years ago, how long has social media been around? 15 years?
Since social media technically officially started off after, what was that, the 9/11. That's when it became a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
So the government created it. The CIA.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, they had like Photo Bucket. Then they had something
Pinterest
something prior to MySpace. Then they created MySpace.
Really? See, MySpace was like the beginning. From
2005.
And then from MySpace, they created these things simply to have more control over people.
Interesting.
That's how they also they changed. That's also when they changed how people are going to the airport. Around 9/11. That was the excuse to have more people under control and more under their eyes. And that's, ever since then, it's been blown up.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not an attack from another country.
Yeah.
It's like we're imploding on ourselves, and then we're going to implement these rules to have more control over the people, because people don't even know that, what's his name? Osama bin Laden. He actually was working with the U.S. government.
I could believe it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Well, really?
I never.
Yeah, he was.
I could see that.
I think it was the CIA that he was working with, and he like there was a deal that was supposed to be done, but U.S. they didn't finish their end of the bargain. They basically just, he did what he needed to do, and then he was like, all right, I'm waiting for my deal, and the U.S. was just like, nah, F that. And then they made him like a scapegoat for this, for this catastrophic event that happened.
Well, that's what they do, man. We've seen it so many times. It's frustrating, but this is why I don't talk to certain types of people about this type of stuff. Number one, if you're not open-minded, we're not even gonna have this discussion.
Yeah,
that's number one. Number two, if you do a little research, it's kind of like you open up your eyes. Like if you do the right type, you go down the right rabbit hole. You open up your eyes. They say it only takes 6 months for you to become a conspiracy theorist.
That's it.
You go down the right rabbit hole, the one thing that kind of gets you locked in, and you start to see all the threads unravel, and you automatically think, well, if this is a lie, if they confuse me or trick me about this, what else they lying about? Yeah. And then you start to see the pattern, and now you see it all. And so it's weird to me when people can believe one conspiracy theory, but then another conspiracy theory that is completely credible is like, nah, that one's off limits. That's always weird to me. That's like a weird anomaly. But it just shows you how much the Matrix controls people's minds.
Yeah.
Because nothing's off the table for me. I'm not going to believe everything. There's a lot of BS out there on purpose. Has to be. Got to muddy the waters. But I'm going to believe whatever the mainstream narrative is. I'm going to believe the opposite. 100%. That's the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
There was this dude that I'm listening to who I think his name is Amos. Wilson Amos, I'm thinking his name is maybe. But I was listening to him on a pod, just like an audio book, because Yaki, he was saying like people that he listened to. I was like, okay, you know what, let me check out the person who inspired him. So he was basically talking about everything that you were talking about, how we have to learn opposite or think opposite. Everything that we've learned in school, we have to go the opposite way of that. That's the only way to get out of this, this cage or this trap of the way that we're thinking when we're talking about any subject. Because anything that's being pushed out there by the media or by the people who want to have a particular narrative to push, you have to think the opposite. Because we've been indoctrinated to think or follow everything that's being, spoken about on the news. That's why, the most popular thing currently happening in our society is this war that's happening overseas. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not touching this. I don't want to talk about this because not only do I not know enough to give, like a good input about it, but also we are in America, and we have a lot of things happening in this country that are much grander, but we are so focused on things that happen outside of us, And I recently made a post on my Facebook. I'm just like, once again, like this country or the media is leading people towards division. Mm-hmm. People are being led towards division. You have people going for the left side, right side, or religious beliefs and non-religious beliefs. They have all these things that's just separating people. And soon as I saw this, I'm just like, bro, I see the separation, and I see the division that's happening between people who agree with one another or who are friends with one another, and the so-called protests that's happening. I don't think these are legit protests in the sense that humans or us or people who live the day-to-day life went out their way to set this up. I honestly think these are things that happen, by maybe a governing body to make these protests seem bigger than what they are, because they had them in Dallas, they had them in Austin, Houston, and other places around the world.
Talking about the recent ones, the Israel and Palestine type situation.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
I've literally just been like, I don't even want to look into this.
That's the playbook, Mel. Mm-hmm. They did it with They used Black Lives Matter to facilitate this type of stuff. Yeah. That's literally what it was like. Hey guys, let's fight the cause, and they would get in buses and go places and protest, and the people in them neighborhoods be like, who are these people?
Right, like where are these people coming from?
Yeah. Could you imagine some people coming on our street, busting up our stuff, talking about we protesting for this and that, making it seem like it was us?
Right. Mm-hmm. That'd be insane. I'd be like, what?
Gaslighting.
I got my hollow tips.
Dang.
Hey man, you got to get them for a reason, right?
Hey, y'all can protest all you want, but don't watch out what you're doing here.
There's a boundary right here.
You know what I'm saying?
You could do that stuff right there in the street.
We in Texas. You can't come down here with that. You know what I mean? Like, stand your ground.
I had a friend who's like very passionate about this type of stuff.
Oh man.
And I'm just like she asked me like, "Oh, you see what's happening?" I'm like, I said, I know what's happening, but I don't get involved in that because it's not my area of expertise. And just because it's on the news, it doesn't mean it's something that I should personally care about. I don't want to allow the media to control the things that I care about, and being in that mindset of thinking the opposite or moving the opposite way that the media is pushing you. That's where my mindset is. And she's passionate about this stuff. And like I hate Ben Shapiro. I don't like Jordan Peterson because of what they said.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, well, what did they say? Like, what makes them so evil about what they said? And it's because she said, "What do you think about them?" I said, or about them killing people. I'm just like, killing people in general is just bad.
Yeah.
I don't like death at all. I said, but what about Jordan Peterson? What is he doing that's wrong or bad or evil, whatever? And her excuse was, he's just an evil person. I'm just like, I said, that is not a reason for me to, that's not a good explanation for me to just paint him as an evil person, because everyone has a perspective. And then she brought up like, well, Hitler,
wow.
Yeah, no, she brought up Hitler. You think that what he did it's good or bad? I was just like, no, but if someone was to tell me that Hitler was evil and their only justifiable reason was because he's an evil person, that's not a good enough excuse.
You can't even compare those two people together.
And also, what do you know about what Hitler did? You weren't there. All you know is the fake narrative that was fed to you through your public education.
Yeah.
That's all you know.
Right.
You ain't done no research. You ain't gone to Germany.
This is exactly why I want to go to Germany.
So what are you talking about? I hate when people like you just think you know it all.
People read a book.
People call me a know-it-all. You read a book. You have not even looked at more than one source. Mm-hmm. You have not looked at opposing views.
Yeah.
Listen, when you do research, you're not allowed to just look at one side and be like, well, there it is. That's not research. That's called an echo chamber. Like, that's called confirmation bias. Like, that's not research.
Yeah.
You're not even challenging anything. I could do that all day long.
Like, people like to believe that the higher ups or people in power, they have our best interest, so they're going to be very truthful when it comes to the things that they explain. And especially, we literally just got finished talking about we don't believe 90% of the history that's out there.
Yeah.
So what makes you believe that this part of history hasn't been altered in some form or fashion to make one side look good or bad?
Yeah. The winners always paint history.
Yeah, that's what they said.
The winners always paint history.
And also, it's like, bro, you think that there are just evil people. Like, people don't have no explanation or no reasoning behind things they do. You just think people just do that.
Yeah, no one just does anything.
I'm just killing. I'm just ripping. I'm pillaging. I'm just doing it because that's what I'm designed to do.
Yeah.
That's the narrative they used to try to spin about melanated people.
That they consider us like sexually aggressive and angry.
They're gonna ravage your white woman and all that stuff. So it's like you allow them to paint. The media can paint anybody any way they want. History can paint anybody any way they want. You just believe it. You just believe it. That is ignorant to the umpteenth degree.
The umpteenth.
Yeah. Y'all wanna have some fun? Y'all wanna switch it up? Y'all wanna have a little fun? Is that okay?
Chris doesn't have fun.
Steven, you want to have some fun? Well, I guess this won't really be fun. It's more about the topic about the girl who was the Cheesecake Factory chick.
All right.
You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
Do we need to watch the video or have y'all seen it?
No, that
I've
thing
seen
long.
Yeah, okay. So the premise of it is this chick, she was on a date or getting ready to go to a date, and she pulled up with her. They were in a whip together already. They pulled up to the Cheesecake
Looked like
Factory.
a Tesla.
I don't think it was a Tesla. It was definitely a nice car.
It was a nice whip.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't better. I don't think.
No.
Yeah, I mean, but it was cool. Yeah, he doing his thing, man. You know, so they showed up to the Cheesecake Factory, and this girl, she was like, "Oh no, I'm not getting out this car. I'm not getting out this car. You want to come back in?" The funny thing is, she kind of reminded me of Riri, just like her mannerisms. When she was
mannerisms,
talking.
yeah.
And so basically, this woman had an issue with being taken to Cheesecake Factory for a first date. Now, I guess it also should be highlighted that when this guy, he went to go, pick her up for this first date, he called her outside her crib, and she was an hour late. They're supposed to be there at 5 or so, or 4, and she didn't get ready until 5, and so she didn't invite him up or anything. So he was basically just waiting there for like a good hour.
Sat outside for an hour waiting for her.
Insane.
An hour.
I would have left.
Not 10 minutes.
I would have big left.
Not 10 minutes, not 15 minutes, a whole hour just to wait. You didn't invite him up, so he just, he's chilling in his car. Then you get ready to go out, and then he shows up to the Cheesecake Factory, and then you're still complaining or having an issue with the Cheesecake Factory. So upon seeing that video, what are your thoughts about this woman being taken to the Cheesecake Factory and how this guy handled it?
First of all, shout out to my boy for taking this woman home and not taking her to the not even paying for this meal. So shout out to him. I thought that he was extremely generous. I think he was very well mannered. He was extremely overly patient, and she was extremely disrespectful. So, I mean, as we all have stated already, number one, you're not going to have me sitting outside your house for an hour, right? She had the nerve to say, why can't we go somewhere nicer? And he was like, well, I was going to take you somewhere nicer, but you had me waiting for an hour. We missed our reservation. And then he was like, this is where we're going to go. And he showed her on the phone. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's where we should have gone. Like, well, that's your fault. You didn't come up to, you showed up an hour late. And then didn't even let him come up to your apartment house or whatever to sit, hang out, yada, yada, yada. Like, you're going on a date. And I get it to a certain degree. Like, you know, it's 2023 and women got to be careful. Okay, I can understand that. Right. But number one, why are you even going on a date with a man that you don't feel somewhat level of trust with?
Exactly.
Right. So why are you even going on a date with him anyway? So if, you know, and he's driving.
You're in his car. Like, this
it's
thing
stupid.
About, I don't feel comfortable. It is bull. It doesn't make sense. What's he going to do? Everybody has location on their cell phone. Everybody has live stream. You're in an apartment. There's neighbors. What he's going to do? Come up and just do whatever he wants to and then leave? There's cameras everywhere. Like, y'all take this thing to the, like, men are just savages.
In the middle of the afternoon.
In the middle of the afternoon, in modern society, this dude's just going to come in your house, do what he wants to, and go and ruin his life.
Right.
Because he's not getting away with it.
Yeah.
Like, this is absurd.
But then you go and you get in a car with him, his car. Like, and you don't know where you're going because obviously you didn't know you were going to Cheesecake Factory because you didn't have the issue till you got in the parking lot. So it's just like, you don't even know where you're going. He could have taken you anywhere. So that's BS, right? It's just like, it was so disrespectful. And then the audacity to sit there and act like, excuse me, I get courted. Like, you court a woman. You take her out and you have to take her to the nicest restaurant and you have to put your best foot forward and you have to court her. Honey, I am a woman that gets courted. Like it literally made my stomach turn. and I'm going to say something that, you know, people have said but it's just like, first of all, she is a solid 4. Like,
I'll give her a 5.
She had on makeup.
And she had that makeup off. She had like a bump, like a big. It looked kind of. I don't know.
Man,
I wouldn't give her. I would say she's a 5. I say she's average.
So you're saying that, okay? So after she takes her makeup off and all that, you're gonna still give her a 5? Or are you giving her a 5 based on her presentation?
No, I'm giving her a 5. I'm giving her.
Say
a 5.
She's average.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she's a 4.
Would you date her?
No.
Okay, are we talking about just looks?
No, I'm talking about everything.
Everything?
No, wait, personality?
Oh, so
we're talking looks, height, weight, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's husky, but she's like, when you look at like majority of women nowadays, they've been much bigger than her.
I can't. Well, that's the thing. I can't really. You can't really.
Well,
yes, you can.
I
can tell.
You can. No. You can tell. She's definitely
pictures on her
TikTok.
Yeah.
I didn't see the TikTok.
Oh well, Mel goes deep.
Well,
I don't have TikTok.
I had to research.
Mel goes deep.
So what is her body?
Where does she work?
Nah. I just needed to know, like, what is this that people are talking about, whatever. No, her body's okay. It's not like anything crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, overall, she's a solid 5. She's got to be.
On a good day.
But her overestimation of herself is outrageous.
And that's, I guess, to me, that's what makes me said 4. It was just the audacity, the
you can see her body right there.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. Yeah. Look.
Are you sure that's her?
Yeah,
that's her. Steven, she doesn't. I don't know what you saw. I don't know what you saw.
It's not. It's,
She. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give her a 5.
I haven't even seen her page. I could tell that she was she had a decent body.
Yeah, she looked. It's like a misleading because she's chunky, but it's like. Okay.
But she wasn't sloppy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that those.
That's the reason old boy was.
Yeah, that's why he's tolerable. He's like,
yeah.
Try to go to, all right, we go Cheesecake.
Yeah, she's definitely got some weight to her, but you know she also has some curves. But it was just the audacity, the attitude, the overestimation, you know, and dude, I don't know, man. From what I remember, I'm sure that's her, but that doesn't look like her to me. And I'm not saying that that's not her. Obviously it is. But from what I saw to that, I I think that she looked better here.
She did an interview with Kevin Wesley. I haven't seen it, but
This girl getting an interview.
yeah. Well, they did an interview of him and her together.
It was together. It was good.
Yeah.
Look, man. All right. So I'm with Steven on a lot of that. You know what I mean? I'm with most men. I'm pretty sure.
I think the consensus.
I think a lot of women.
I think women were pretty upset. But see, what the thing that's good about this? First of all, I'm grateful that she did it. Because it gives us an opportunity to show on display the ignorance of modern women. Mm-hmm. Because when you have these conversations with women, they be like, "Nah, women aren't like that."
Right.
And it's like, yes, they are. Mm-hmm. This what she did is not abnormal.
Yeah, I really think the same thing. Like this is something that happens commonly.
This is something women do on a regular basis. I've had girls tell me, "I don't go to a coffee house."
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go to the coffee house? What is this? Is it a date or are we like just hanging out? Like, what is this? It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to spend $200-300 on you. I'm not getting vagina. I'm not even getting a kiss. I might not even get respect. I'm gonna court you and cater to you the whole night. I'm getting nothing in return.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to just go all out. Y'all are ridiculous.
But
That is crazy.
They deserved it.
Yeah, they're all
bro.
queens. So if everyone's a queen, then guess what? Queen just came down here.
Yeah.
Queen's a commoner.
It's commoner now.
Queen's a commoner. We gotta exalt. We gotta go to empress or something now because queens are commoners. Everyone's a queen. So that's nothing.
That's what happens. If you when everyone is beautiful, the standard of beauty goes down. Right. So if you go to Miami or if you go to, you have women in like Arizona, because apparently Arizona has very beautiful women.
Oh, really? I need to go to Arizona.
Apparently. Right. And same with you go to California and stuff, you see very beautiful women, but then you start asking them how they see themselves. They're like, I'm average, I'm a 7, I'm a 6, I'm an 8, maybe,
Nah, they say 10s.
It's
very rare that I hear a woman give themselves a below extraordinary
I'm
look
talking
ranking.
about I know women in those areas, and I've talked to them, and they're very pretty girls.
Oh, so they look higher in your eyes, but they view themselves lower.
They're beautiful women, like, you know what I'm saying, and it's just like you're not a 6, like but it's like, well, based upon what she sees every day, it's like, no, I'm average, right? And I don't think and it's not a self-esteem thing, right? For the ones that I'm talking about specifically.
Why do we even have to preface that?
Well, this is what
people should
say.
be able to call themselves a 6, and it shouldn't be assumed that they have self-esteem issues.
Right, it has nothing to do with being self-esteem. It's just literally having a correct estimation of their looks. Like, I don't know. Obviously, we can undervalue ourselves at times, right? I think that is a thing. But if you're legit a 10 is not going to say I'm a 4, right? You're not going to be that off. But if I say, hey, listen, I think I'm a solid 5.5, I'm a 6, I could possibly be a 7, or I could possibly be a 5 or a 4, right? Depending on, whose eyes I am. But in general, you should be able to look at yourself and have a general estimation based upon your environment and the other men or women around you. So you can be, you'll hear people say like, I'm a 10 in Colorado, but I'm a 6 in Dallas. Right? You've heard people say stuff like that, and it's true.
So do you think the rankings of women, I guess it depends on what state or which part of the world you in, it changes?
Yeah, perception.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just who how they've grown up, who they're around.
So what if a Cali chick was to come to Texas? How would you think her ranking would be out here? Would it be higher than the average girl here in Dallas or Texas?
It depends. And I think that she would probably underrank herself. And I think that would be a lot of be based upon whatever her weight is, because any state that you are in that has a lot of sunshine, so like Florida, Delaware, California, right? Even New Mexico, any place where there's a lot of sunshine. When you look at health, they're also on average have a lower BMI across the board. Right, which has to do with the, typically people that are outside more and they are getting more sunlight, which metabolizes fat. So I think that if they were in better shape, they're going to look at themselves in a different way, based upon where they're at. So I think that, obviously it's hard to say because we don't have.
I think a Cali girl, if she was to come to Texas, I would rank her lower.
Okay, well,
Because they have a lot of artificial things like the lip
That-
stuff,
yeah.
the BBWs or the BL, whatever the fuck, the BBLs.
BBLs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have all this fake stuff, but in Cali, that's normal.
Yeah.
Like, you're looked at as weird if you're not.
if you don't have
yeah,
it,
if you don't have the.
at least lip fillers
Like, how
and
fucked up is that?
yeah,
How fucked up is that? You're the one who's crazy if you're not normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There was a video of, I don't know who it was. She was some star on TV, and she was like Latina, and she like was walking on like not the red carpet, but she was going to some sort of thing, and she was on a carpet. She stopped. Everyone took a picture of her, and she didn't have a BBL or nothing. Like she had a flat stomach, and she was a very natural woman. She's beautiful, but her butt wasn't like crazy. And the comments, men and women, were just like, "Where's her ass? Where's her butt?" Like, bro, she's a natural woman. Like, what do you mean? Like, every woman doesn't naturally have this damn fucking shelf of an ass. Like, it.
A badonka.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they just assume because you have money, you're gonna get a BBL. Like, bro, it's disgusting. Like,
yeah, it's bad. But I want to go back to this Cheesecake Factory
sorry,
because this is not good.
you're not done with her yet.
No, not at all.
Go ahead, man.
Not even close. We ain't even started.
I mean,
did,
it's round one.
I did.
So she claims she did this because she, first of all, oh my God, apparently she's some type of coach for women.
Oh,
some type of
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's woman empowerment coach. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder these women are so delusional.
She is a coach for women.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And so part of the reason she was doing this was to showcase to her women how you handle a man when they not giving you what you estimate your worth and your. Like, it's just like
Backfired.
oh, big time. But you know what's crazy? She genuinely did not believe she did anything wrong. She genuinely thought she was doing something to help people. That's the part that's crazy. She was completely oblivious. She was like, now look, ladies, when they take you to the Cheesecake Factory, this is what you do. You lock the door when they try to open it. Get back in. He said, you recorded me? Oh, you want to do that? Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you, Steve. Like, he was an absolute pro when it came to keeping his cool because, I mean, honestly, let's be real. I personally would not have been in that situation.
Yeah. Right.
She would have never made, my filter is too good. She would have never made it, right?
Yeah.
So then even when he was like, bro, like you were an hour late. And her excuse was, well, I had to work longer than I thought. Oh, so your phone doesn't work.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't know that you're going to have to work an hour late. You can't tell this man, hey, don't even leave your house because I'm going to be an hour late.
Yeah.
So no excuse there. No. What you wanted to do is you wanted to have him waiting for you so you can have leverage over him. You're this beautiful woman. You're too good for him. You look better than him, which I get it. There's the cultural difference. I think he was Indian or something.
He was
Or
he was brown.
Arabic.
He Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern, whatever. And so typically we don't date each other like that. Black women are seen as these things on pedestals, and so it's kind of like that. Let me just get a taste type vibe. He kept talking about family and all this stuff, but it's like, how did you get this far with this woman? Because y'all have had conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because he had to basically claim that he had to win her over. Because when he saw her, it was like she was in the club or wherever they was at, and she was looking good, and he could tell other dudes wanted to talk to her, but they was nervous. Like, bro, nobody was nervous about talking to her. Like, she doesn't look that good where people are nervous about talking to her, unless she was just in an environment where it was all people like him.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd be nervous that she come talk to me. Like, please don't let her come talk to me.
But if there were brothers in there, and ain't nobody gonna be nervous to talk to her. So. And this, look, I'm not saying any of this to put her down. I'm not saying she's ugly. I think she's an average-looking woman.
Yeah.
She probably has a appealing body to a lot of people, but her attitude, I would have caught it instantly, and I would have been like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Now, in her defense, in her benefit.
Chris,
You got defense for her?
What?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, I do.
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all say Chris don't protect black women. He protect black women.
I do because once again, just like I
Nobody
said
said that.
earlier, you got to look at both sides of the argument. I'm analyzing for what is actually taking place, not for how I feel oh, go, dude, you did that. Like, no. As soon as he told her, you have not been cooperative, and kind of started explaining what she was doing, she began to think.
Yeah.
She began to take accountability. Now, did she take accountability the way I'd like to have seen it? No, not at
How
all.
does she take accountability?
You could see it in her mannerisms.
It was in her mannerisms.
She became a little softer. She apologized. She was like, you know what, I mean, it was a half-assed apology, because when she said it, I was like, nah, hell no, this don't count. Right? But she could have really walked things back if she wanted to, but her pride would not let her.
Right.
Because they were still in the car, and she could have said, you know what, right? Because I think that she has the ability to turn on her softness when she wants to. Mm-hmm. You could tell she does. Mm-hmm. And she didn't come off, she wasn't loud or rude or anything like that, right? So you could tell that she knows how to turn it on and turn it off. And she could have said, you know what? I apologize. Mm-hmm. I'm really sorry. And I wasted an hour of your time. I didn't let you come up. I could have let you know ahead of time, so that way we could have, if maybe you could have adjusted the reservation. If not, then I understand why we're coming to Cheesecake Factory. I didn't realize that I probably was not being the most cooperative. I'm genuinely sorry. I am interested in, still going out, and I would love if we can still go to eat. And
that would have made their relationship that much stronger.
He would, if it was me, after that, I would have said, okay.
Yeah. Because
I'm already there. I've already driven. Like,
you've already wasted an hour and a half of your
likes
time.
her. I'm not saying I do, but if it was a girl that I actually wanted to talk to and she apologized, I could say she saw that she was wrong, and then she has the ability to do this. I just needed to show her that.
Right.
So
accountability. But this is the point that I'm making.
Man, what's that face?
I'm just listening.
This is the point that I'm making. So that's so rare. How attractive would that be?
Right. It's extremely attractive.
It's so rare. But so all I'm saying is, in that particular video, you saw everything kind of start to shift. Mm-hmm. She did not do it because she's not used to doing it.
Yeah.
She's probably not used to anybody telling her. Usually probably dudes would just stop talking to her.
Her mood changed. You could see
she
it.
Was upset.
Everything changed.
She was upset. She was like, dang, I'm not getting dinner tonight.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so,
I'd be too if I was hungry.
Right, and yeah, she probably did work up a nice.
She's like, "Thanks, you gonna take me home? You gonna end the night like this?"
Hell
yeah.
He's like, "Bro, I'm sorry. He's to take my little nice car. I'm gonna go ahead and take myself back to Cheesecake Factory by myself, or hit somebody up." He wasn't an ugly dude or anything.
He's just one of them. He's not his confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You say his confidence high because he approached this beautiful woman, but it's like, but your mannerisms show that you. Because like he was super calm, but that's also because he seemed like he's a little
passive.
Yeah, and he's soft spoken,
and he kind of stutters, and I don't know if that's because he's nervous because he's on the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's weird that because in Kevin Wesley's video, he was like, "Yo, what's your dating life been like since this happened?" He's like, "I mean, it hasn't been great. You know, it wasn't great before." And then apparently there are people who are not on his side. So apparently it's not like everybody's. His champion or anything.
Of course, there's going to be people not on his side.
Right.
But
Which I think is absolutely absurd.
I do too. But if I was a woman, I would look at that and be like, I'll treat him good. He seems like a nice guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they don't want nice guys.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Fuck
that's
it.
not.
I mean, what? But overall, what is wrong with taking someone to Cheesecake Factory
Cheesecake
on the first
Factory
date?
is expensive.
Nothing. Cheesecake Factory is it's not Applebee's.
It's above Red
Oh,
Lobster's.
it's way above all of them.
She
said it's a chain restaurant. Like, how dare you compare Cheesecake
What about
Factory?
Ruth Chris?
Right, that's a chain restaurant.
It's Ruth. I mean, I don't know what her standard is.
Capital de Grill. It's a chain restaurant. They got the things there.
Aria, I've seen that in more than one location.
Oh, you know what it is?
I mean, I've never been there, but I've seen the logo of it before.
So it's just like, what
I don't.
What do you
like? What does that? So I got to take you to a local fine dining establishment,
right? Local,
and I'm supposed to know that,
right?
And I'm supposed to do that every time because this is just courting. Well, don't introduce me to an energy you can't maintain. So every time we go out now, we're going to these places. But are you going to cook for me though?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a matter of fact, funny thing is, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I went to Cheesecake Factory's menu. I said, can I eat here? I said, man, there's a couple things on this menu.
They have a veggie burger I can eat on there.
Yeah, I said, man, I could even eat there.
I can't eat the cheesecake though.
Bro, they used to have, or they probably still do have this white chicken chili or something, white bean chicken chili.
Oh,
Oh,
sounds good. I like white.
oh
beans.
man, it was so good.
I've
I'm
never
sorry
been to
I can't
Cheesecake
eat that
Factory.
You've never been to
No,
Cheesecake
because I
Factory.
always thought of it as this is an expensive restaurant.
I mean, it's
It's not cheap.
It's not inexpensive, but it's not like overly crazy.
It's
Yeah.
like $3 to $4 signs.
Okay,
I would give it 2.5.
2.5.
Like $2.50.
I mean, I'm saying it's obviously it's based.
I
on
mean, they
people's
have they're.
perspective.
I think that their average like entree is like $30.
No. Well, not
I've
for what
looked
I
at the
would
menu.
give.
I'm not
'Cause
talking
it's,
about.
it's a burger.
Of course, I'm not
fries.
talking about that.
That's
Hell.
why you gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, exactly. You looked at what you would
me
eat.
get a
I'm talking about the
cheesecake.
actual menu. Like, no, they have their average.
I mean, we've been there like multiple times. Like we went there on my birthday.
How long ago?
When we first got here.
I mean, it's
when we were living in Louisville.
Right, but I'm saying like it's you. Okay, you went there for your birthday. It's obviously on that level to where this is like we're not gonna just go eat there on a Tuesday night just because, right? Like I'm not saying we because that's not somewhere we would probably go anyway.
I've never been able to just walk in Cheesecake Factory and get a seat. It's always a wait.
There's a reason.
I mean, it's a very. First of all, look at where they're located. All the places she likes to shop, there's a Cheesecake Factory in
There's
there.
always cheesecake factories in more wealthier
Yeah,
neighborhoods.
it's not no slouch. I don't think that if I talked to women about this, no one that I talked to said they would have a problem with Cheesecake Factory.
So let's get to the crux of the argument, because what it really boils down to is it was her level of disrespect towards him for taking her to a nice establishment. That's where the delusion comes in. Because if they were at McDonald's or Jimmy John's or Applebee's or Chili's, people would get it.
Yeah.
They would be like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the fact that most people, I would say 51% of people would say Cheesecake Factory is a very nice restaurant.
And I think you're being nice with that 51%.
I'm being nice, but I'm saying the majority of
majority.
people.
Take someone on a date to Jimmy John's.
Bro,
first
if it
date.
was, listen, I mean,
if it was low key,
You get some Jimmy John's,
but
go to the park.
based upon this conversation, if we change nothing but the end result, which is the restaurant, if it was anything like any of those restaurants you mentioned, I could understand to a certain degree. I still wouldn't be on her side.
No.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, well, he had a very nice restaurant picked out. He had a reservation. You messed it up because you were and made him sit for an hour late, so you can suck it, number one. So this is what you get, right? Like, this is
you
it.
get what you get. Cheesecake Factory.
Well, no, I'm saying based on
that's
what
not a bad alternative.
it's not a bad alternative. I'm saying like no, if now number one, I'm never gonna take a woman to McDonald's. We're not going to Chick-fil-A. We're not going. You know what I mean? Like
I'm never taking a woman to a restaurant on a first date.
I mean, but if we
No,
were
sir,
like,
coffee
I
house.
wouldn't mind.
Nigga,
Like
we
if
going
you
we getting some fruit juice or something.
if we're going out and depending on what's in her neighborhood. So let's say I gotta go pick her. I'm gonna go pick her up. And depending on what's close to her, I'm gonna look at some restaurants, and maybe there's an Olive Garden close by. I don't see a problem with Olive Garden on a first date. Number one, because I think that number one, I got some good breadsticks. You know, I'm gonna get some breadsticks, right? But and that salad. But it's really, to me, I see a date as the opportunity for us to sit and talk and get to know each other. Like now, number one, I don't particularly like restaurant first dates as well. But if she's like, I want to go eat, then I'm not going. We ain't going to Capitol Grill, right? We're not going. I'm not. We'll go to a Mexican spot, right? That's local, and you can get some tacos.
Tacos.
You know what I mean? Like, so what is it? Is it the price? Is it the atmosphere? Like, I would love to know what is it about a chain restaurant or a cheap restaurant that is not liked by women? What specifically? Like on a first date.
Better.
But what about it?
I mean, once you get filet mignon, it's kind of hard to go back to hamburger.
So
helper,
is it
man.
the quality of food?
That's the right.
Is it the quality of food? Is it the atmosphere? Like, is it the fact that you see me spending money on you so you can count my pockets?
She said I can't go in and everybody look at me. I'm looking like this.
I'm looking like this and I'm in here? Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I went on a date with a girl and Like we went to
With the purple lipstick on, bro.
Oh my God! With the purple,
looking crazy, look like a
with the green dress and the purple lipstick, like, bro, you look like the damn Joker.
Remind me of somebody that we seen before, but I'm not gonna say it because y'all know. But I took a girl out to just on a date and we went to like a healthier restaurant, or whatever. And then afterwards,
That was your first mistake.
Afterwards, we went to Cidercade, and she was in a dress and all this stuff, dress and heels, and I'm just like, nigga, we about to go to the arcade after this. I don't know why you gotta dress for the occasion. I told her what it was. Like,
Oh, so she knew?
yeah, I said, hey, we can, you know what I mean?
I don't think that matters though at Cidercade because people come in there after hours
events, after concerts.
But this was a girl who, when I get out the car, she just sat there. She just sat there, and I'm just like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Oh, this is the game we're playing.
No, was
This is
it?
what we're doing. I ain't never going to deal with this girl again.
Right.
When she sat there, was it? Did she give you like?
No, she wanted me to open the door for her.
Oh, I understand. What gave you the cue to that? Was it the time? Like, did you get far away? Like, you got out and she just didn't open it? Was there an attitude?
No, she sat there. Just sat there. Like, she just sat there like. I'm just like, what the fuck is
Did
happening?
you guys talk
that
about
Steve Harvey.
this or anything
No.
by chance prior?
No.
No, he's supposed to just know.
Yeah, I mean
You're
that's
supposed
but
to just do
a
it.
lot of times women will just get out. Like even if I'm coming to get it, they'll just get out.
Like, what are you waiting for?
Here's the thing, man. With the
Like,
whole,
are you helpless?
with the whole-
Open the fucking door.
with the whole door opening thing, like, you know, like, listen, I'll get the door for you getting in, but when we get out, open your door.
Look,
Open your door.
Let me explain
Oh,
something.
here comes Chris.
Go ahead, Chris. Talk to him.
This whole fake chivalry thing
Yeah.
is so annoying.
Yeah.
Women, you get to cherry pick what a man is supposed to do for you. You could cherry pick all day long, and there's no reciprocation. What is our version of chivalry? What are you doing for me on a first date that makes me feel
I
special?
can tell you what
I
want.
took
Let me
my
tell you what I
time
want you to do.
putting on my makeup, getting dressed,
You do that for you.
so we can have a good time out.
I don't even like makeup.
I thought
So
women
you-
do that for them.
All right.
So that ain't for me.
But they took their time. They took their time.
So
That's
you
their
just
time.
you just showed up, and this was this girl's attitude. I
Yeah.
showed up. What do you mean? What do I give you? You wouldn't touch the man. You wouldn't let him hold your hand, your arm. What? Put your hand
Yeah,
on his
what you
arm.
try to give her a kiss on the cheek or something, or you asked for a kiss? Or no, I'm
no,
tripping.
no, I think he just tried to hold her arm.
They just
Oh
walked-
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
walked
Like
with her.
she wanted to put her arm in his arm.
Yeah,
Like
He was trying to be a gentleman.
yeah. He was
I'm
trying
not
to do
messing
the
up.
things, and then she rejected him, talking about, well, we don't know each other that well,
Bruh.
But you do want him to come pick you up, wait an hour, drive you, come open the door, take you somewhere. It's like, this is annoying.
It's
Now,
so annoying.
Here's what you can do as a feminine woman. Because some women, without their words, are able to create a vibe where it's like you want to do that for her.
Mm-hmm.
She's so feminine, you don't want her touching nothing. You don't
Right.
want her. If you don't give off that vibe, that's your fault.
Yeah. Because men will do those things.
Yeah.
If you give off that, oh God, this girl, she's got me melting, bro. I don't want you, girl. Don't worry about that door. Don't touch that door. Don't want to get your hands dirty. I got it. Like we will just start running all over ourselves. But it's just like, nah, you want to be masculine, but then expect me to do all this and that. Like, I mean, come on, bro.
What level of pushback, or I guess not being considered easy, should a woman give to a man?
What do you mean?
Because she mentioned that, like she was being very harsh. She made him wait an hour because she was worth it or whatever. And like, there's some level of pushback that a woman, like, should she just go and just like, I'm gonna enjoy myself, or should there be some level of proof that you're interested, or something that you would have to do to show that you're interested, or some level of resistance that the woman should show in order for you to gain her interaction, in a sense?
So a level of, so how much chase should she make you?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
basically what it is.
See, this is me taking a complex concept, that all those words you just said, and making it simple.
Appreciate it.
Okay. I think there should be a level. Me personally, just if I look at you and everything is yes, 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 it actually kind of turns me off a little bit, right? This is me. But I like a little bit of a little chase, you know, like a little bit of cat and mouse, a little bit back and forth.
In what instance would you say that's appropriate? That you would prefer it in?
Well, just in the beginning when we're just talking, you know, like, hey, let's take our time to get to know each other. I don't necessarily want to go out right away, you know, like I don't like going out 2 days after we meet, even if the interaction is good.
I can take. We can meet, talk same day. Let's go out.
Well,
that's not
Yeah,
waste time.
yeah, but Steven,
Well,
here's my issue with that. Because women have done that. How much time? You're just saying I don't feel comfortable right now.
No,
no. That's what they'll say. They'll say I don't feel comfortable right now, and then that's it.
Well,
What makes you feel comfortable? I don't feel comfortable right now because I haven't learned XYZ about you,
Well, yes.
or X amount of time has not
they're not
passed
sure
yet.
if they like you.
No, that's not it. Usually it's a trauma thing.
Yeah.
Usually
but
it's just a
typically
defense.
Women know if they like
They
someone,
know.
or if they even want to have sex with someone.
Well,
upon
they
meeting
may
them.
not like you right away, or right because so I was just watching one of those things on YouTube where you know guys will rate women and women rate guys. Right? They put them in order off first impression, and then they ask questions to get to know them, and then they rank them again. And watching that, it of course lets us know that so the men's rankings didn't change as much, right, after learning more about the women, but the women's rankings dramatically changed after they got to know the men. So I think that for in general most women, there's going to be a level of attractiveness that they're going to see. And then they're like, well, I don't want to meet just yet because I think that they're like, well, I kind of like him, but I'm not really sure. So let's just continue to talk
Or
and
they're
then see if
talking to another guy.
I mean,
like-
okay, if you want to look, I'm
bro,
not saying that that's not true either.
What you're saying is a scenario, but it's not the majority. A lot of times, women will not. I've had these conversations.
Well, I'm just answering the question that Mel asked me about in what situation would I want a little pushback. I like that little cat and mouse in the beginning.
I know, and I took us off. I always
okay.
do that. That's my job. So I keep things interesting.
Your job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steven, I have a job here. Let me do my job.
Let him do his job, Stevens.
Let me do my job.
Let him do his job.
I let you do your job.
I just answered a question.
Mel does his
I
job.
do my job.
Everybody play their position.
Know your role.
And shut your mouth. All I'm saying is in that scenario, when they say that, it's a cop-out. There's no defined parameters to it. They don't offer the information, and when you ask them about it, they can barely tell you. It's just not time yet. Because, you know, they listen to Steve Harvey. That's where the whole sitting in the car waiting comes from. Oh, you saw your mom do that?
Nah, bro, that's unattractive. That's a huge
Steve
turn
Harvey.
off. Like,
Teach a man how to treat you.
Like, first of all, if you're gonna do that, number one, get out of the car, and then express yourself
Exactly.
And like, hey, you know what? You know, I was always taught that a man opens the door for a lady. You know, I really like a man. I find it really sexy when a man opens my door. I think that he wants to take care of me. I think that I find it very masculine, right? You can say it softly like that. You can say it in a word that lifts him up, and then now you're speaking encouraging words to him, right? So this is the power of the femininity that women just literally have been losing. Like, they don't understand how to speak to a man to get him motivated, to get him moving in a way that you want him to move. And they think that, well, just being loud and it's not the way it works. Yeah, so
being loud is unattractive.
Right. So don't sit there and just wait, being passive aggressive. Get out of the car, right? But maybe you sit there for a second so he realizes, oh, maybe she wants me to open the door, but then get out and then grab his hand and then tell him, like, hey, you know what? I've always had this dream of my man that I'm with. He opens my doors. I find that to be super masculine. And honestly, I think that you're a really masculine guy. So, you know, I just like that. Just something to keep in mind.
And that would absolutely work. You know what else would work as well? Wear a dress. Yeah. You want us to take you to these nice restaurants, spend all this money, treat you like a queen, and y'all wear pants. Mm-hmm. Bro, pants are not traditional female garments.
I don't know a problem with pants. But
I don't have a problem with pants, but open your own door. I don't have a problem with pants, but don't be mad because we go to the Cheesecake Factory. Mm. When a woman I'm talking a dress. I'm not even talking a skirt. Skirt would probably work too. Mm. But when a woman wears a dress on that is so attractive.
Heels.
Oh my God! Well, they just do not like wearing heels. And
I think the dress just shows their level, their mindset.
Yeah.
yes,
Like when it comes to expressing their femininity.
yes. And guess what? If I done came to pick you up and you walk out in a dress, I'm like, dang.
Right.
I'm going to be motivated. Let me make sure she can get in and out of
I'm
the car.
hop out of the
Like,
car. I'm not gonna
it's-
reach over and just and pull the door open. Like oh my God. Okay.
I'm gonna go
Let me
because
hop
it's hard
out.
to get out. You got heels. You got a dress on.
Right.
For me, I'm like, let me go help this woman get out of the car.
You know
That's where chivalry comes
you know, in a
from.
sports car,
You're
things
wearing,
sitting
you're
low.
wearing pants, wearing sneakers and stuff. You got all the full mobility.
you better hop on up
You're
in
not
here.
disabled.
You better stop acting crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But if but this clip, all women are just rah rah. So we gotta drive, bro. Y'all are the ones that want all the chivalry. We just get nothing.
Yeah.
We can't even get a dress.
You get my you get my my time.
And this is zero shade to any woman that I've ever gone out with where she wore jeans, because I like some nice fitting jeans.
Oh, no, I like some jeans.
Oh,
too.
don't get me wrong. I like some nice fitting jeans. But my point is, these women also didn't demand that I open the door and,
I've never had a woman do that, Mel.
Just sit there.
No, I haven't either.
Me
but,
neither.
But I have had a woman tell me that they want me to open the door
Yeah.
after the fact.
Yeah.
I was going through a battle with myself.
It's true. You started to get upset.
I was just like, my pride was like,
Yeah.
I'm not about to do this shit.
We can just go back home. Like,
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like-
you don't want to get out? Like, are you putting on lip gloss? Like, what are you doing still sitting in the car?
But then my other side was just like, this won't happen again. I said, I'll get.
Dang, the date one is done before it even starts.
Yeah, it's done. This is not happening again, because if you're expecting this to just be the norm on the first date, there's going to be expectations that I can't even conceive that you expect me to just know about, and I don't even know, because that has caused a lot of issues in my past relationships where you had an expectation of me to do something, and I'm sitting there just doing my thing, and you're upset over nothing, and I'm just like, what are you angry at? You didn't say anything about my outfit. What? I was like, I told you look nice. But yeah, I'm just like, bruh, this is a headache. I don't want to do that. I ain't dealing with that, bruh. Especially when I go out of my way every trip to give you a motherfucking compliment, there's always something else. There's always something fucking else. And then, man, I'm telling you, son.
You speaking from experience.
Hey, man.
You got some you triggered right now.
I'm not. I mean, it's funny when I think about it. I mean, at the time it was frustrating, but yeah, I mean, these were years ago. Niggas single out here. But yeah, I mean, I just thought it was funny. But like, it's just unrealistic expectations to expect someone who doesn't have your mindset or the way that you think a person should be treated on the first date, especially when it comes to chivalry. You can't expect
First
anyone
date,
to
you don't know this person. That's the whole point.
This is why you communicate.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is communication.
It's the first date. Y'all are so used to Disney telling you a man's supposed to basically pander to you, put you on a pedestal, bring you chocolates, play music for you, hold your hand, throw his coat over a mud. I'm not throwing my nice jacket over a puddle of mud for you when you can walk around.
You
I
a damn
I
lie.
can see Steven keeping a little blanket. Oh, let me get that for you, girl.
Bruh, no, we're going to walk around it.
Bro, this is
Right? That's the option.
Like,
this is
Or into
absurd.
traffic.
Like, or I'll pick you up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not throwing my coat. Any coat, they're expensive. It's leather. I'm not throwing my damn leather down so you can walk on it.
I don't think anyone's actually done that in real life. Though.
Bro, you don't understand the programming. The programming. If we have never done it, women still expect it.
Yeah.
Even though if they don't have
Pedal.
they've never seen it.
How many times have you left a club and I was watching a video where this dude took his shoes off because he was leaving the club and the girl had on heels and he took his shoes off and she wore his shoes out to the car because her feet were hurting. Like, bro, you're walking on the ground and she's walking in your shoes. Like, bro, you put on heels to go to the club. Like, you put on these 4-inch heels. You could have put on different heels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. No.
Or just bear the consequences of having to wear those heels.
Or just pick her up.
Yeah, or
like
pick her up.
get on my back or whatever.
I'll carry you like a baby.
I've done that. I've carried girls or jump on my back and I'll walk you to the car. Like, so you don't have to walk outside with no heels on. Like, I've done that. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not giving you my shoes, right? I'm not taking my coat off and throwing it on top of a damn puddle. Are you going to pay for the dry cleaning bill?
No,
because
she's not going to pay for anything.
Because I just recently had I had to get one of my suits dry cleaned because someone got like makeup all over it. And I was like, listen, like you got makeup all over my suit. Like you were wilding, you was drunk, like you was wilding. Like, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'll pay for it. Just let me know. Of course, she never paid for it. Like, it's just like y'all don't care. And we weren't dating or anything, but it's just like you don't care.
Sounds like men have to do a lot.
Man.
Well, that's the reason why our relations are so fractured. Because women have been taught that they don't have to do anything except exist. And then they demand way more than our grandmas did.
Yeah. Because for real, like in that situation, I mean, a woman would, okay, I'll take care of your suit. Like, not saying that, no, obviously, like, she's not close to me, so it wasn't like you could just, you could just take it and clean it, launder it for me. But, okay, in that scenario, you'd send me $10. That's what it costs. Send me $10 or whatever. I'm not saying she had to do it, but it's like the fact that she said she would and she didn't do it. That's what made me upset. I didn't ask for it. But she was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I'll take care of this for you, but you didn't.
Yeah, because y'all are the ones wearing this paint on your face.
Right.
I don't be thinking about that.
Me neither.
I don't put paint on my face. So I don't think about that.
And you got it all over my damn clothes. Like,
Yeah, there'll be times where I've been on first dates and I go in for the hug. Like, oh, my makeup.
So we can't even have
so
a
much damn
sense
foundation.
of intimate. I'm paying for all of this, taking you all these places, opening doors, and I can't even hug you. Or I get a half hug because you got bro, this is
it's too much.
Yeah, they should just get the signal. Well, they won't. It'll be a continuous cycle. That's just going to be what
It's
it
all
is.
good, man. I'm about
You
it.
already
This
out
little
the streets.
market.
It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Damn.
What?
What was all that?
Oh, that was just. I'm about to close it out. So
I know, but why'd you have to get all
what's it?
what was all that energy?
we know what you got going
I
on.
mean, I got a lot of.
You all right?
I'm all right, man. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm chilling, man.
You got a lot of pent up
aggression. Nah, I don't.
your sexual pressure is leaking out.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Ain't got my.
Dang, man, you didn't have to say it all like that, man.
Oh, well, I didn't mean it like that. My bad. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all rocking out with us. Give us your insight when it comes to this.
I'm sure we're gonna get in trouble today.
Women and men.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Men and women.
Yeah, please
Yeah,
get
man.
Chris in trouble.
I am
Steve, you
animated
should
Mel.
never want me to get in trouble.
You shouldn't want me.
That's
to
Chris James
I don't necessarily.
and Stephen Michael. Nobody's getting in trouble here, and we will see you
Definitely not
next
Mel.
time. Subscribe, like this. Peace and love, and bye bye.